Yo. Snipe sasara kapa. Gabe khona into engiyenze wrong la. So ke 7. Ke go check ra. How's it, everybody? How you doing? It's another Thursday. Machita Thursday. Today recover vele baby country. You're not broke or misaligned, cause you're in the wrong lane. We're gonna be exploring that, given the fact this month has been that month whereby we talk about workplace things. We talk about how to survive the grind, how to keep your sanity, cause I would say, how can I put it? It's not the nicest of jobs. And now you are, dealing with it on a daily basis. And how do you go about that without, losing? And that's what, the program was basically focusing on and, exploring a bit. So, Vandaag, we are going to be dealing with it Marno Armano. Kilabon, and just delving deep into why it is at times things feel as difficult as they do, not only from a literal sense, but why you're having to drag yourself out of bed at the best of times, why it is that man, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it because you're driven by survival? Is it because you are driven by the fact that something that you, for a lack of a better word right now, we could call it destiny. One. So it's that vandaag. It's that vandaag, and I would like to hear your comments, guys, as to how do you feel, or lona maybe le bona jwang this thing, not being broke, because I believe that you're not broke because you don't have any skills. We are, and as I always say, we are innately born with a certain type of skill set. The problem is that we don't use it. We are not efficient with it, because of environment, maybe because of how can I put this, because of circumstances, sometimes because of education. We cap ourselves based on what society says to us, and this is particularly true, I have found, at least ko machiteng hore mfethu o ntswembu ka ho build, for instance, and society leads him to believe hore tshwanetse a bana le dipampiri, but his work speaks for itself. Ke motho e leng hore o na le matsoho ano. He doesn't necessarily have the academic know-how, but he definitely has the experiential know-how. And because of this now, ke motho e leng hore ha thole mosebetsi, or because of dipampiri and not because of his works, e ba hore o fetwa ke mesebetsi, o fetwa ke di-opportunity. But motho a nang le pampiri yena ke motho e leng hore o tlo ithola opportunity eno, but doesn't necessarily do as good a job as motho onana o senang dipampiri. So it begs the question ya hore ha ele hantle, you know, why is it that we are still re lla ka hunger, re lla ka lack, re lla ka not having enough or not having at all. Like it's for me it becomes baffling in that regard, in because we guys, like I always say to you, okay, more than anything, you are born with what you need. It's just that along the way you forget, or circumstances lead you to forget or disconnect even from true purpose. Why we have these conversations are employee wellness in the workplace. If it is that ke mosebetsi o e leng hore wa o enjoy and you're really supposed to be doing, why is then a wellness aspect to it? Why is it that it's stressing you so much? Is it that can we say that it's really what you're supposed to do? And why are we living according to this fear ya hore if I step out and actually become who I'm supposed to become outside of definition and the norms, then you shrink because of you're scared of what will people say. Batho ba tla reng, batho ba tla nsheba jwang, ke wele mos, lifestyle e ke e phelang, I have to maintain it because I spend X number of years go university. I spend X number of years go tertiary or whatever. So again, another question ya hlaha mono hore, are you then saying hore o phela ka pampiri, o phela ka diploma? Without the diploma, you're nothing. Is that what we are saying? Are you discounting then the skills tse leng hore you had before you even knew what a diploma was or a degree was, and you were just doing it out of, you know, because it's what you're good at. It's something that you do without expecting payment. Where has that gone? I would challenge you, you know, today to saying, oh, get back to that place where we would sit as children, you know, and fantasize and dream about the people and all the careers that we want to come into. And I can bet you money that many of you that are watching right now are not necessarily doing what you said you wanted to be when you were at a younger age. And I would say, ipotse, ask yourself why that is. Why aren't you that doctor? Why aren't you that fireman or that bus driver or that policeman? Is it because of your circumstances that drove the decisions that you made in your life? Is it that you settled? And believe me, I'm not asking these questions or having this dialogue from a judgmental point of view. I ask with the understanding that bophelo ha bo easy. Life is as we are experiencing it now, it's challenging because it's very material, and it's difficult to consolidate the material with the spiritual, which we are as beings, and we forget that because we are so much immersed, we are so much blinded and focused on surviving, I would say. We are told that we need to survive, that without these material things that there is no life. And yet we have the example, thousands of them around us, that tell us otherwise. So then the question becomes, oh, now, are we in alignment? If we are, then why is it that we are still so hungry? Why are we still so hungry for knowledge? Why are we still so hungry for peace? Basic things, I would say. Re busy ka the things of the world, as religious texts and beliefs would put it, to say, oh, we wake up and we misunderstand some of these texts in their meaning and what they were actually trying to tell us. We, to a very large extent, have taken it very literally. The most notable one to me being of you will live by the sweat of your brow, or something to that effect. And people have taken that rather very, very literally, whereas it means something altogether. It's partial and it's an incomplete in terms of its saying, because it's used for the convenience of putting a point across or an argument that is misinformed. And to the full extent, it says, yes, you will till the soil, but also be fruitful and multiply. Now, rona re nahana hore ke taba ya sex fela, and then we must reproduce and make many more humans. But it misses, it's not about that. It's about what you have. How do you multiply it? How do you increase it in such a way that you are able to leverage it in such a way that waphela lwena, you become now social, you put it to the world, you are able to sustain, where you're produced to a point of sustenance, that you're no longer now worried about, oh, what am I going to do for my next meal? What am I going to do for the next payment, or whatever the case may be? We are so focused on money. We've forgotten to reinvest in ourselves, essentially, because that body has to carry you to the job that you're so worried about. The family that you're leaving behind has to support you and say it's okay, so that obanale plaka eo. Oh no, we understand. You got this. You're the man. You can do it. But we don't do that. We hardly invest in each other. We like in ourselves anymore. You don't sit down and ask yourself, oh Anna, okay, why why is this happening? And go back to the drawing board so far back that you are back to childhood. We are afraid of that. Why is that? Is it because it takes time? Is it because it's an effort thing? Because if it is all of those, then I argue and say that there are examples of people who spend 15, 20 years doing the same thing, getting the same reward, and they believe, oh, baphela, they are perpetuating someone else's dream, perpetuating someone else's goal. Thina siyenzani, wena wenzani? Gogo, what is up? Gogo, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I don't know. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm just I don't surprised. Why do I have to
I get
am
you.
I
Otobedize invitation, no kopetso again. So I know I will oblige
oh,
to
no
Mtomdala.
no 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 no.
Mhlambe
But
kune-point.
yeah, no, I'm feeling the ears and the mind. It's a very, very deep topic. So no. I'm listening. I'm listening.
I know.
No
We
comment
appreciate
for now.
Gogo. We appreciate Gogo. We appreciate. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. As I was saying, have you ever considered, like I say, just when you are in your state of meditation, when you're in that space of being alone, do you ask yourself that honest question of what am I doing? What value um, am I bringing unto the world? Am I a part of the problem, or am I a part of the solution? And I mean this in the most general way, because if we are going to be focusing on taba ya material le taba ya tjhelete, then we are going to be having a conversation e leng hore it's going around in circles. Because I would argue and say that, if you look at it, work is a tool. It's a means to an end. It is not the life. It's not supposed to be your life. Yes, it can be a part of, whereby you dedicate a portion of your time to gathering a resource. But for you to saying that I'm gonna give 20 years of my life to this job or this particular um, path, a path of which you have examples and you have seen to an extent where it leads. Sure, it could be different for you, but from a baseline point of view, the results are going to be the same. And yet, you justify and you step deliberately so into misalignment. And it's justified by what? By circumstance. Why are we ruled by circumstance and we acknowledge that we are spirit? Because spirit doesn't go by circumstance. Why? Guys, like we need to honestly spend time, or the time that we are spending in figuring ourselves out in our oneness, in our man caves, and to really get down to the nasty stuff, those really uncomfortable questions. And this is one of them. Are you a contributor or are you a consumer of your environment? Are you led by the environment or are you led by your purpose? Because if you are led by your environment, then most likely it is that you wait for the environment to be favorable for things to be favorable for you. And when they are not, you sit and you become depressed. You become despondent. You don't look inward to saying, what do I possess? But if it is that you are the leader that you say you are, and the leader that in many circles you are recognized to be, then you do not wait. Because you already possess that which you need. All you are needing is simply, how can I put it? A gathering of resources. This could be people, this could be time, this could be material, raw materials in themselves. But essentially, it's just about using our brains and being brave enough to believe in ourselves again. Because that's the other problem, in that we are led to believe that you are needing. Yes, partnerships are very, very good. But a partnership is only as good as the components that make it up. So, how is it that you are going to be entering into a partnership with nothing? You started nothing, you're thinking of nothing, and yet you're wanting a partnership. So, the next person must carry you. And this applies not just in the workspace, it also applies socially. It applies from in the relationship context. Re dula re buile ka taba ya 50-50. There is no such thing as 50-50. Rather, there's 100-100. So, what does your 100 look like? If your 100 looks like 0, we have problems. You have problems. So, think about that and digesting and saying and looking at your life in general. up to this point, to saying, was I shaped by my environment, or were my decisions? Yes, environment will influence, but they were largely decisions that I made considerations on by myself. I went internal. I didn't go external. And if you're finding that a lot of them you were going external, then okay, you can't change the past. The intermediate ahead. Shall forgive yourself. Don't try now and be a superhero, and because you are wasting time. Be in the present, whatever the present may look like for you, because there's a reason why it's called present. It's not just a gift. Hobaneke now. And if we try tomorrow, present ile. Over Yamahala, free of charge, is gone. So rather than wait, rather than how can I put this? Yeah, look for things tse leng hore di ko ntle, di hole. The solution, they are within you, they're internal. That idea, that business idea, e leng hore you had, and you put it down on paper, or maybe it's still bubbling in your mind, or even that job application that that came about and you are considering. Hayatla fela. It didn't just come about because you spent time or came across, you manifested it. The universe gives what you produce. That which you think about, the universe will manifest. So that idea is coming about because you manifested it. And in that idea coming, it also comes with what? With the solutions to whatever problems that you might encounter, because it's tailor-made to that time that you are in, that moment that you are in. It addresses all of them. All that you are needing to do is look within and listen. Ngwana o ka hare o, ra mo tshaba machita, and I don't know why. We are afraid of that child. And that is not just the child. That is the truth. Things are not going, or might not be going the way that they're, simply because you're not listening. I can stand on a mountain and say that the signs are there. The signs have always been there. It's always just been a question of you listening. And it's a scary thing, I get it, because especially when you have been trained in a world of lies, in a world of illusion. This is why our spirits are so important. Not only from a point of being, but for this as well, discernment, being able to see, being able to decide, what is for you and what is not for you. And you're not having to go far, guys. I keep saying this. You don't have to go up on a mountain. You don't have to go into a building. The space that you are in, that space that you are believing that you are alone, that place that is crowded, but you are still feeling like you are a stranger amongst familiar people. In that space, you are not alone because you are spirit. The environment simply lets you forget or that you are constantly connected, because you are. All it is just going inside and seeing yourself and accepting yourself as you are, not as the world tells you you are. Many of us are misaligned because of this, because we have taken up our identities that have allowed us to survive and not to thrive. Wena o Mr. the business suit o the hempete ainuing, but you are miserable every day. You put on a mask so that the boss abone kare no, you're happy to be there because it's part of code of conduct. You must look happy. But you're miserable inside. You hate the job. You simply do it by the why. You have to survive. So is that life? I ask. I would say no. Thriving, on the other hand, is a different story, because it means that you're no longer now going by emotion. You're no longer having to pretend. You are just being you, and every day, your day is filled with everything that you need. All those good emotions, yes, and all those bad emotions, because you cannot have rain without the mud. Let's not forget that. So a lot of times we dabble in our good properties. Yeah, no, I'm hardworking. Yes, I'm a good person, and this, that, and the other. But we shun away from the supposedly bad properties. We shun away from them, and they're part of us. It's just that no, how it's easy. Why why it's haba? And it's a problem, because that's what you are going into when you interact with the next person. When you are sitting and you're making that deal with the person across from you, or that panel of people across from you, you are carrying that. Why aren't you dealing with it? Embracing doesn't mean that it means, oh, you're accepting that it is a part of you. It's just that you're not going to allow it to rule you. Or now we mistake that for saying, oh yeah, no, I need, no, no, no. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of yourself. Because maybe once you start fearing, you stop fearing yourself, the world won't look like such a scary place anymore. Whereby you won't be bullied because, hey, you are able to stand up for yourself in both the metaphorical and the literal sense, because you would then know exactly what you're worth. You won't be now walking around with worth determined by a piece of paper from your previous employer, because It's one of those. It's one of the questions. Good interviewing that's always bothered me. How much do you expect? And it's bothered me simply because I've always had a challenge of putting worth to myself because I've always viewed it as being something that's vain. And this is just me. It's not how it is. It's just me. And it feels very superficial having to how can I put this? Having to put a price on myself and someone asking me how much do you think you're worth? Um it's a problem for me because I'm having to look at my skill set. I'm having to look at what I'm bringing to the table and setting a price on it and saying that I'm worth 10,000, I'm worth 15,000. But is it really worth that? Or is it just something that I'm saying so as to get the job? So for me, it's that, but it's different when in the human context now, whereby you are saying I am worth, uh, I am worth a king's treatment. Okay, sharp. We then have to ask, Hore, are you really displaying the qualities of a king? Are you bringing about the accountability of a king, the wisdom, the patience? Are those things, the compassion, the selflessness, are those things being brought? Are you saying it, or is it something that you are living on a day-to-day basis? Because like I say, many of us have had to learn to wear masks in order to get by, to survive, basically. And I would argue to a large extent this is why the world is the way it is, because of pretenses, because you are told that if you are unable to pay 2,000 every month, then you don't have a place to stay. And you're having to make sure or somehow you get that 2,000 so that you don't lose your place to stay. And never mind job satisfaction, never mind fulfillment. Those go out the window. It's about securing the bag. And that's why we have what we have, why our world is the way it is, I think, because we're driven by goals that other people have set. We haven't set our goals. Yes, we've set them, but we don't really believe in those goals because we don't think that they are worthy enough, because we are not worthy enough to get them. We are trained in the material, in the tangibles. We are trained in the house, that expensive house with many rooms and bathrooms in the suburb. Um, those fancy cars in the garage. But what we're not trained in is how to sustainably attain those things without going through stress, without killing yourself from a psychological point of view, so that you are able to enjoy. Because you didn't only come to this world to work, You also came to enjoy. So the decision lies with you at the end of the day as to
Yeah, I finally found a I could join with about the people mustn't be confused, ne? So it's okay. Anyhow, good evening, Uncle T. How are you?
hello, coach. How are you? How are you, ma?
You know, look, it's this is so deep, so profound, and I feel so like it's not being justice that we don't I was unable to join earlier,
Mm,
but nonetheless we are here now.
that's what.
And this thing of alignment is so important in 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 so many ways,
Mm,
and every action starts with you. You
mm,
know, sometimes when you get disciplined, you think you are being punished. And if you were
mm,
not personally, you don't have the discipline, you don't have a structure actually. You
mm.
just moving, you just wake up in the morning and say,
Ke
I'll
tla
go
bona
where
ko pele.
the yeah, ke tla bona ko pele. It becomes easy for other things to distract you, for other
Mm,
things to to just join in the queue, join whoever, wherever the the wind blowing, it blows with you, because you are not guarded.
mm.
You don't have um like, who are you when the world is not watching?
Yes.
And what do you actually want when for
Mm,
yourself? If you know who you are, if you are aligned with your purpose, and your actions are talking to your purpose. I'm not
mm.
talking goals. Bona, I'm not about that life with goals. Anything can happen. Yes, it's good to have goals and whatnot, but if you are also not aligned with your purpose, those goals are meaningless. They
They're
mean
meaningless.
absolutely nothing.
They're meaningless.
So, what the question becomes as well, what do I actually want for myself? And or do I look into what other people expect of me
Mm,
versus what I want? Meaning that whatever I'll be doing to please others, but inside I'm a shell. I'm a ke lekoko, ke shwele, kore
I
like
understand until
you are emotionally, spiritually, physically, you are just moving, you are just
how they
moving, you are just
hey
doing things to please others,
autopilot.
but you are not pleased. And the first person that you are supposed to be pleasing is God. Is God pleased with you? Is God pleased with your actions that you are taking on a daily basis? And you are not talking massive things, you know. You are going to a work, you have a well-paying job, you are flourishing in that space, but you are so empty. You don't even know whether you are coming or going in that
Mm,
space. You are not even
mm.
secured in that space. You are doing things just to, you know, to tick the
Convenience.
boxes, to pay the bills,
Convenience. Yes.
to as if you are saying, uh, I I need to belong to somewhere.
Mm,
And even
mm.
if I lose myself in the process, it's fine.
It's not a problem, and that's
Yeah.
where now oh, what I've been saying, or it you have to revisit. Hore, are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it for
Mm,
survival, or is it something that is driving you to eventually thrive? Because if you
mm,
have been stuck in survival for the longest time, then
mm.
you're not living, you're surviving still. You haven't
Yes.
multiplied. You haven't multiplied. Yes, you might have what you have, and I'm not saying that it is a small accomplishment, but I'm saying that you can accomplish a lot more
mm.
out of
That's
survival
true.
mode.
That's true. And sometimes it becomes so hard to even differentiate between the two.
Mm,
You cannot remove yourself. You cannot separate yourself from the survival mode and the spiritual you, the
mm-hmm,
soulful you.
mm,
Those two are suffering. We are only looking at the outside, the
mm,
material, the things that you can twara, your car, the
mm,
phone that that label of clothes that you wear, things that are seen. But we forget about the things that are unseen, that really make you who you truly are.
mm. The saying that money can buy happiness. And then the answer becomes no, it can't. And then someone will reply with, but it means that you're shopping in the wrong place. Or it means that you don't have that money. Yeah, okay, now shop. Shop. Now, given that money can buy me happiness, when I don't have that
Mm.
money, does it mean now that I don't deserve
You are
happiness?
unhappy.
I'm
No,
unhappy now.
you are unhappy
So
because your happiness, it's
yeah, Kalua.
it's
It's measured.
itshetleile ka tjhelete,
Yes, it's measured.
itshetleile ka itshetleile ka wa bona,
Yes,
ha e tswe from deep within.
you get me. And yeah, Dr. Rainey
And like
is
Dr. Ren is saying,
they are
that
healing.
most of us, you become one with your trauma.
Yes, which is where the term what is this? Sorry, institutionalization comes into. You are your trauma is an institute that you are used to, that you have signed up for. Some are aware, some are not aware. Hore mo
Mm.
re tsoha ka 5, ha re tsoha ka 5 re nwa kofi, ha re fetsa ho nwa kofi re tsuba ngauza, re tsuba zolo, ka 7 ra kena re lo kopana le ntho e so le e so le e so, then ke lunch. After lunch
Mm.
ra khekheleza ka 4 ra chaisa every day for the next 30 years. Nna ke jwalo, ke kwata ka speed. Why o kwata ka speed? Is
Mm.
it
Mm. Mm.
survival or is it you
Mm.
thriving? Because you might be missing on an opportunity ka statement seno and the identity that you've taken up, or you anger quickly. The person you are talking to wants to give you something, or wants to bless you, or wants to be in partnership with you, but upon hearing this statement and this identity that you have taken
Mm.
up, you shut the door without
Yeah.
you are doing it unconsciously. Why? Because you have spent so much time in that space that it has become you becoming the trauma. The things that you do on a daily basis will tell you whether or not you are one in marriage with your trauma or you are actively dealing with it, because there's a difference, guys. There's a
Yeah,
huge
and I get
difference.
it because you are so comfortable in that
Yes,
space. You are so comfortable,
yes.
you don't even realize when this is now going beyond.
Uh-huh,
You don't
uh-huh.
realize, you don't realize, you like, I that's just me. That's just me. I'm bipolar and that's it. Even when people are trying, somebody, at times you will be sent a helper, you'll be sent a destiny
Mhm,
helper, but you because of the attitude that you have, because of this identity that you have taken,
mhm.
it
So
becomes, It
You are
falls on
letting
deaf ears.
mm, the scripture or scripturally, I get it's also written that you are having to be of sober mind. It doesn't just mean you not drinking or you not. It means that from a consciousness point of view, each
Mm,
and every action, each and every word, each and every thought, you are aware of it. You are aware of its origins. In that, is
mm,
it negative? Is it positive? Are you entertaining it to manifest, or are you extinguishing it right there and there and dealing with it and
mm,
dealing with why it has come about? Because you have set yourself to live in a certain way. This is where now the whole thing of um positive thinking versus negative thinking, survival versus thriving. Because when you are surviving, the whole thing of the nervous system, and I think Gogo once covered it to saying when you are in survival mode, you are constant, the nervous system is constantly on alert. You are heightened to a certain things that the environment would present as being dangers, or let me say your senses will present as being dangers. Are they dangers at that moment? No, they are not. But because the immune system or the nervous system is alert in a certain way, that thing now becomes a danger. That thing becomes a potential threat that needs to be dealt with. Why we have so many of us that are in positions or in situations that they don't want or that are harmful to us. Why? Because our in nervous systems are always switched on. The trauma
mm,
that happened to you those many years ago, you went to therapy, you did a couple of sessions, and you felt that you have dealt with it. But there are certain instances that happen, small things that trigger you to alert you that you are still in survival. You have not released. Yes, you've
mm,
gone through the motions and healed, but you have not yet released.
mm,
Why? Because you're not listening. That's why I go back to this thing, guys, to saying that that voice, when you were young, telling you, and you were having a conversation with it. I want to be a fireman. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to change the world in this way and this way and this way. That inner child, are you hearing it? Because if you are not, it means you're misaligned. If that voice is buried somewhere in your spirit, somewhere within you, it means the path that you're walking right now, you're misaligned, guys. I understand survival. I understand having to pay the bills. I understand having to take care of responsibilities. But what I am saying is that those things you can still do with the innate skills that you possess. Just don't be afraid. We are still, many of us, living with fear, under fear. Fear is our companion, not your wife, not your girlfriend, not your husband, not your boyfriend. Fear. Batho ba tlo reng? Batho ba tlo ntšheba jwang? Ba tlo re ke
mm,
wele. Fear. Hey, ba tlo re o le educated, o le so, o na le degree, why o rekisa ditamati? O sentse nako ko sekolong a rekisa ditamati. You are a gardener, you love gardening. You love vegetables. But hobane society e re he wena o spendile 8 years as a doctor, you are anticipated hore o tshwanetse o bole in the white coat. Wena o le ko sepetlele kwanana o chika di-nurse, o chika di-patient. Because society expects that of you. What do you expect of yourself? Ke potso.
That's true. That's very
Malome o
true. And
godile.
and nobody says this is gonna be easy. And I think one of the biggest things is that why we do what we do on a daily basis, why we are here talking about these things, is that we do not we want to create awareness to the younger generation. So you know what, look, don't be fooled, don't be lied to, don't be, and don't also get yourself into things that at the end of the day you'll be 52 and sitting here, and yes,
Yep.
at a point you'll have regrets, or I should have, maybe I could have done things differently, but I didn't have somebody who was there. You know, uh, there's this other song that says I've never been to me. Nobody had talked to me like I now am talking to the younger ones. No, if somebody had to maybe made me aware, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah.
But again, I want to say also, we, some things you go through them for a reason, for a purpose, and it is for that reason that we are here today to say, let's share notes, let's tell you what happens, and
Yeah.
truthfully so,
Yeah.
bearing it all out, not sugarcoating, not hiding behind, not blaming anybody, but
No,
taking
no.
also full accountability of your
Yes.
part, because you could have chosen a different direction to say
Exactly.
andize angizingeni, and that is that, you know.
Exactly.
But you went with the, with the vibe as well. You went with the vibe, you didn't
Wena o
have,
batla ho feta eng?
consistency in and conviction in your own actions. We didn't have that.
And but one of that's where it begins ultimately. That inner voice, that magical answer that you're looking for out there. It's not out there, guys. It's in here. And the only way to hear and understand that answer is by spending time with yourself, understanding who you are. Because in understanding who you are, you'll then understand your purpose. And in understanding your purpose, you will then come to understand how it is that you are going to physically go about manifesting and impacting the world with your purpose. You get me? That's where now the thing, cause there's this clip that I like, Maponga, and he says, are you going to university to address a problem in your community, or are you going to university just for the flash of it, for the experience of it, to say, I've been to university, I have a degree? And you need to ask yourself, not just tabaya, and university is the example. Are you in a relationship right now because you are wanting to build an empire, or you are wanting to build something that is very long term and has a legacy and will last generations? Or are you married or in a relationship right now because everybody else is doing it, your circle of friends is doing it, and you're the only one that was left or left out. Mm, ask yourself that. Um,
Yeah.
the job.
You don't want to be
Mm,
be the odd one out,
yes.
to
Are you
be,
are you
yeah,
are you a
you want
person
to
that,
fit.
yeah? Are you truly your own individual, or are you part of a collective? Nah.
Yeah.
You must those are just my questions to you guys, and thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Um, and logging in. I don't want to keep you any longer. But
Mhm.
really think about, take into consideration what I've said. If you want to look at it from a scriptural point of view, by all means, please go ahead. I would suggest look at the example, ya Moses. Go and read his story from a character point of view.
Mm.
Why he was put, why him? Because he was a prince first. Atswa, akgethiwa, a romiwa. Why him? Look at that. Apply it ko wena. If you can. If not, and you're needing help, hit us up. If you just want to chat, YM is there for that exact reason. Hit us up, guys. On our socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everything. We are everywhere. Um, that's why we're here. We wanna help you in terms of different, because as you can see, everybody's doing the same thing and claiming to be different, but they're not. Whereas on our side, and not claiming anything, we don't claim, we just do different. So if you want to be a part of that movement, you're very welcome. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you, coach. Thank you, sister, Dr. Rainey, our viewers,
Thank you.
Machita, Buffetu. Let go of fear. Let's start living. Let's start thriving and stop surviving. It's been long enough now. It's time for us to be the leaders that we claim we are, really, because the world needs us now. So please, guys. But away bafethu, um, ke tla le bona next time. Yeah, ke salo recharge. Live sharp. Love you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Away.
Thank you.
Bye.
Night night. Thank you.